Too often, leaders assume competence means being the smartest or the most experienced person in the room. The best leaders are not necessarily the ones who know the most about doing the work. They're the leaders who can see broadly, decide wisely, and lead steadily across their areas of responsibility. Leadership competence isn't about domain mastery. Leadership competence is the practiced ability to lead with capability, mastery of leadership competencies, and sound judgment. And they apply across all domains or functions. Hey leaders, I'm Jeff, founder of CoreC Leadership and your guide on this identity-first, truly inside-out journey. I help leaders grow with more purpose, more steadiness, and hopefully a little less strain. If leadership has ever felt heavier than it should, you're not alone. If you've ever felt like your organization could increase its impact through your growth as a leader, you're in good company. So let's get into it. There's a moment in every leader's journey when they realize something important. People don't experience your expertise first. They experience your judgment, your steadiness, your ability to choose the right next step when the path isn't obvious. This is sometimes called the myth of mastery. Many leaders were promoted because they were strong in their domain. The best teacher, the best operator, the best analyst, the best pastor. But domain mastery doesn't automatically translate into leadership competence. In fact, it can sometimes get in the way. When leaders cling to mastery, they tend to do instead of lead, solve instead of develop, control instead of empower, narrow instead of broaden. That's the myth of mastery. The belief that being the expert makes you a better leader. But leadership competence is something different entirely. I should say this too. Domain mastery wasn't my challenge. In fact, it was the opposite. I was promoted into leadership roles early in my career, long before I had deep expertise in the areas I was asked to lead. And because I didn't have that mastery, I had to rely on the leadership competencies we're talking about here. Capability, mastery of the leadership craft, and judgment. There were seasons when I was asked to lead functions I had very little experience in. Customer service, marketing, strategy, areas where I clearly wasn't the expert. And those seasons shaped me. They taught me to listen deeply, to ask better questions, to empower people who knew more than I did, and to use metrics to make sure we were moving in the right direction. The metrics weren't about control, they were about stewardship, honest indicators that helped me see whether our decisions and actions were creating the impact we had intended. Competence is the leader's practiced ability to translate identity into direction, contribution, and stewardship. And it shows up through three dimensions I've mentioned already: capability, mastery, and judgment. Capability is your leadership breadth, the range of responsibilities you can carry well. It's not about being the expert, it's about being able to lead across functions, across priorities, and across seasons. Here's what capability looks like in practice. You define what matters: vision, mission, strategy, priorities, expectations, and the indicators that tell you whether you're making progress. You validate what matters. You test your assumptions with your board, your boss, key partners, and the people entrusted to you. Alignment before announcement. You resolve gaps and redundancies. You clarify ownership. You eliminate duplicative work and address missing accountabilities before they frustrate your teams. You align resources, people, budget, time, attention, stewardship that matches priorities. You develop people. You understand potential, pace, readiness, stretch, and support. You delegate wisely. You release control, empower others, and stay focused on what only you can carry. You manage performance. You name what's working, address what's not, protect the mission, and support the person. I've had seasons myself where I defined direction without validating it, and I paid for it. I missed gaps. I assumed alignment that wasn't there, and my team felt the consequences. I've also had seasons where I validated early, and it saved months of frustration. Capability isn't just defining what matters, it's making sure what matters is shared and understood. Again, mastery in this context is not domain expertise. Mastery is the craft of leadership itself. It's the practiced ability to communicate clearly, make decisions wisely, facilitate healthy conversations, navigate conflict, coach people, and create alignment. Domain mastery says, I know how to do this. Leadership mastery says, I know how to lead us through this. Domain mastery solves problems. Leadership mastery develops people. Domain mastery narrows your focus while leadership mastery broadens your perspective. Leadership mastery is the discipline of leading well, not the expertise of doing the work yourself. Finally, judgment is really the heart of leadership competence. It's your ability to see clearly, choose wisely, and act consistently, especially when the path isn't obvious. Judgment is what people experience first. It's what steadies teams. It's what builds trust. It's the practiced ability to weigh competing priorities, navigate ambiguity, and choose the next right step. Not necessarily always the perfect step, but the right one in context. These three dimensions, capability, mastery, and judgment, are the hinge between the personal CoreCs and the collective CoreCs. Calling grounds your purpose, caring shapes your posture, character steadies your presence, competence turns all of that into direction. And that direction becomes the foundation for clarity, culture, and coalescence, the collective CoreCs. So here's a reflection for today. Where am I relying on domain mastery instead of leadership competence? Then ask yourself, which dimension needs my attention right now? Capability, mastery, or judgment? Is it defining direction, developing people? Is it delegating, communicating? Is it navigating ambiguity? Is it choosing the right next step? Competence grows when you shift from, I know how to do this, to I know how to lead us through this. You don't have to be the most knowledgeable or most experienced person in the room to be the most trusted. Leadership competence is formed the same way calling is formed, through presence, practice, and alignment. You're not behind, you're becoming. Thanks again for joining me today. And until next time, as always, listen deeply, walk faithfully, and bring others with you.